We are going to be looking at 7 reasons why I think every pilot should at least consider getting their IFR rating. Hello aviation enthusiasts, and welcome back to another episode of Teaching Tuesday. In this episode, we are going to be looking at 7 reasons why I think every pilot should at least consider getting their IFR rating. Number 1, the big picture. I think that pilots that have their IFR see things in a broader way. And what I mean by this is they have a sense of situational awareness that is usually a little bit higher than the standard VFR pilot. They have a much more awareness of the terrain and their surroundings. They have a better understanding of the airspace that they fly in it and how that interacts with ATC and what to expect from ATC a little bit better. A lot of them have a better understanding of traffic and where it is as it relates to them, because they're in communication with ATC and they're often alerted about it, and they have the tools that can better prepare them to see that big picture. Most of them will have their iPads. Obviously VFR pilots have the same, but they have IFR charts that give them a lot more detailed information about some of these things. And in general, it just gives you a much bigger picture than what the average VFR pilot has. In the experience that I've had working with dozens of different students over years and years and years as a CFI. Also, number 2, they're usually better at flight planning. IFR pilot, every single time he flies, he has to file a flight plan, meaning he has to look at all the different dynamics of the flight every time he flies. He's not just going to be jumping in his airplane, doing a quick pre-flight, and going for a buzz around the patch. Okay, he's actually, every time he's going to fly and file, he's going to be looking at the weather extensively, he's going to be looking at alternates, he's going to be looking at, or she is going to be looking at all the different options that are available to them as far as flight planning. How long is it going to take? And basically, flight planning becomes second nature to them. Looking at the route that they're going to fly, the best route that's going to work with the weather. They're going to call up a briefer, or they're going to get an official weather briefing of some sort before every flight. They're going to file that flight plan. They're going to have a better understanding of how much fuel that's going to take to make sure that they get not only to their destination, but that they can also get to their alternate if needed. So basically, I've noticed that IFR pilots, boom, flight planning to them comes like second nature. I do a flight review with an IFR pilot and I ask them to do a flight plan. They can crank one out pretty quickly and efficiently and have all the elements that I need, whereas a lot of VFR pilots might struggle with that because they haven't really extensively flight planned routes very often. Maybe when they take it longer cross country, they might get a little bit more in depth, but it takes them a little bit more time. And what I'm saying is, in general, now I understand there's some VFR pilots that are top-notch and fly almost at a commercial level. I get that. But I'm saying, in general, these are things that I've noticed. Also, IFR gives us improved skills. When I jump in an airplane with an IFR-rated pilot, the amount of precision when it comes to pitch and power and their understanding of what those elements bring in regards to performance is amazing. They also have a better understanding of systems because it's drilled into them. Which systems are you going to lose? What critical instruments you're going to need, and a better understanding of how to use those backup instruments if they did have, let's say, a vacuum pump failure or something along those lines, or electrical failure and you're in a cloud. Well, as an IFR pilot, you realize just how critical those things are, where the VFR pilot's like, oh, if that fails, I just look out my window, so there's the airport, and I go in and make my landing. It's not as crucial, although still important. Number 4, fearless communication. Some VFR pilots, especially those that are trained at airports that are uncontrolled airports, are still a little bit nervous or a little timid when it comes to talking to ATC, or perhaps they don't know the exact verbiage or understand exactly what ATC is trying to tell them when they do communicate with them. Whereas an IFR pilot, boy, communications is like second nature to them. It's like no problem at all, and it doesn't cause any issues. So It's just the communication level is heightened. They are not afraid to ask ATC or query them of the questions or maybe any issues they have. They're not afraid to ask the ATC for different routing if necessary. It just overall makes them more confident pilots. So even if you're a pilot's like, I don't even really have it doesn't excite me to go fly on a cloud, getting your IFR rating will definitely, at a minimal, will improve your communication skills. Number 5, it opens up options. Maybe you're that pilot that is using this as an airplane you want to go fly and see your family. Maybe you're using it perhaps even with your business. And I'm sure every VFR pilot has had that time when there was just a touch of marginal VFR or just a little bit of haze or kind of cruddy weather where it's not dangerous, it's not really bad, but it's just on the edge of what you're comfortable with. Well, you have your IFR certificate, no problem. You file that IFR flight plan, you get the weather briefing, you take off, and a lot of times you're going to be flying in VFR conditions or you pop up through a small thin layer, you're flying up on top of something that is so amazing. Is that first feeling you pop up through that, you're down in that cruddy weather down below and it's not that nice and it's kind of a gloomy day and you're flying and you pop up through those clouds and it's all gorgeous sunshine. It's a pretty fantastic feeling, and it does open up so many more options where if you're an aircraft owner or you're a pilot, you can utilize your certificate more often just by simply having your IFR. Not meaning you're going to go and try to like skirt thunderstorms or do anything crazy like that, but it just opens up doors that you can fly in those weather conditions that are just not comfortable to be flying if you just were a VFR pilot. But your IFR rating opens up those opportunities where you can take off, get to your destination smoothly, safely, efficiently, and without having to worry about coming just short and having to overnight at an airport for a lower ceiling or lower deteriorating visibility at your destination. Number 6, an IFR rating, heightened safety. You have ATC right in your back pocket that you can query at any time if something doesn't seem like it's right. You can ask them about any type of traffic that might be an issue, any weather ahead that could be an issue, that if you're seeing something a little different than what you had seen in your forecast or what you had gotten from your briefer, you can query them. They're watching for other traffic, both IFR and VFR, and will call them out whenever they can, so that helps you. Also, the chances of a CFID or controlled flight into terrain is minimized greatly, and also there's no need to be ever tempted to scud run when you have your IFR rating, because you can file and safely get from point A to point B and not only obey all the rules but also not even come close to playing with what your personal minimums are. And then also number 7, last but not least, those of you looking for a career advancement, you're looking to become a commercial pilot, you're going to want your IFR rating. I understand you can get your commercial certificate without the IFR and you'll be very limited, but anybody seriously considering being an aviator for a career, you want to do this for a living, you have that passion or that desire, IFR is that natural progression right after your pilot to go for it, get that IFR rating. So those are just 7 of the reasons why I think it is super smart to consider getting your IFR certificate. Hopefully you guys enjoy the experience, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like this video if it's been helpful, and leave a comment if you have any questions or anything you would like to add to this list of reasons why you got your IFR, if you're already an IFR rated pilot, or some reasons why you really want to get your IFR certificate. Hopefully this video has been helpful. As always, keep learning, keep sharing, and remember the top 3 things when you're in the airplane. Fly the airplane, fly the airplane, fly the airplane.